everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of coloring in the Forest Girls coloring book. This is volume 2, the premium edition, the hardback one. There are 3 coloring books in the series and they're all beautiful coloring books. I actually have a flip through on this one on my channel that I just filmed very recently, so I'll make sure that is linked in the upper right hand corner. If you enjoy videos like this, please do make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also turn your bell notifications on so you're always notified every time I post a new video. If you check the description box below, you'll find a link down there for my Facebook group as well as my email list and a link for my Patreon if you would like to support me over there. Let's go ahead and get into this video. This is the page in this book that I've been working on, and I was kind of doing this off camera, kind of during my free time when I get to just sit and color at nighttime and just kind of get some peace and quiet and relax. And I had shared what I was doing in my Facebook group, and I was working on these cabinets over here and giving them a very kind of, I don't know, like a rustic type of look. I wanted them to look like very just old cabinets that you would see maybe in a very old house or like an old cabin or something like that. And then I came up here and I did the countertops and I kind of burnished those out because I wanted the countertops to look very smooth. And I used different colors here in the countertop as I used down here in the cabinets because I kind of wanted to make it look like maybe the countertops had been redone or something, but yet we still had really cool looking old rustic looking cabinets. And so I wanted to do the same to this table here, and so that I thought that I could bring you guys a tutorial and show you exactly how I did the cabinets, because I'm going to do the table to match the cabinets. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that and exactly how I created this textured the textured look over here and the technique I used to be able to do that, so that if y'all have this book or you want to color along with me and maybe pull out a book that has some interiors or interior designs in it and you want to color some furniture, then y'all can do that right along with me. Let's first talk about the colors that I'm using. I have Sienna Brown, which is PC 945. I have Dark Umber, which is PC 947. I have Rosy Beige, which is PC 1019. And I have Eggshell, which is PC 140, I think that says. So let me go ahead. This is a really great book because if you look at the line art here, the line art is kind of grayed, and so it really helps to be able to tell where you want to lay your colors, where you want to put your darkest colors. Like over here you could see the gray is a little bit darker, and so you would want to apply your darker colors there. And when I did the cabinets were just like these cabinets up here where there was nothing on them. So I actually had to create this texture, and so I think the wood is going to be a little bit easier because the lines are kind of already there for me, so I'm kind of being forced to follow them a little bit. But when you're creating texture, you need to make sure that you have a very sharp tip on the lead of your pencil. Of course, I used my Doll 133. You guys all know that I love the lead, or the sharpness of the lead and the perfect point that that pencil sharpener creates on especially my Prismacolors, because that is the one pencil sharpener that I've been able to find that doesn't put a whole lot of pressure on my Prismacolors and causes them to break. I know that so many of us have issues with breakage with our Prismacolors, and that's the one pencil sharpener that has really helped me for that not to happen. So the first thing I'm going to do for this part, I would make sure I'm using my Rosy Beige, and I'm going to make sure that I have a little bit of a duller tip on my pencil, and I'm just going to come in and I'm going to create some lines just kind of sporadically on the wood. And I'm not necessarily, I'm kind of looking here. Like I said, on the other one, when I did these wood cabinets over here, I didn't have a guide. I had to actually create this because there were no lines on the wood. So on this one, it's a little bit easier. And so when I'm doing this, I'm looking to see, I want to be able to follow the lines rather than creating my own kind of thing and trying to cover it up, because the only thing I'm worried about is the lines actually still showing through. If I go over where a line is and I decide I want to create my own thing and put a little bit of a highlight there. So I do need to kind of follow exactly what is already here. So where I see the white areas of the paper on here, I am actually going to leave those lighter, because I want to be able to use my eggshell and put it in those areas. And I'm just kind of doing this kind of little up and down stroke and just adding that color all over the place. And then I'm going to come back with my sienna brown. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm holding the pencil back here so that I don't push too hard. And now I'm just going to go over some of the darker areas where I see the already drawn in strokes. These lines that are already drawn in here that the artist did on this artwork are really, really helpful, because yeah, it was a lot more difficult when I actually had to create it on my own. But I kind of want the table to match the cabinets, because I don't know, when I'm doing a coloring page, I like to be very creative and kind of come up with different ideas on how I can make whatever it is that I'm doing a little bit different and stand out from something that somebody else is doing. And I want to encourage you guys to do the same, because you want people to see the pages that you colored and kind of be able to just look at it. Like if you're doing a lot of sharing in the groups on Facebook. Okay, so I've got my dark umber, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to make some darker lines now. And I'm actually going to do this with strokes. See how I'm just kind of emphasizing those lines? And I'm going to do it on the edges. And this is where the big difference is going to happen, because the dark umber is actually the color that I'm using. I mean, I need all of them, but this is the color that's really going to make it look textured. But when you're sharing, back to what I was saying, but if you're somebody that is sharing a lot in the coloring groups and stuff, you want people to look at your coloring pages and be like, oh, I know who colored that, just because they can see something that is kind of specific to the way that you do things. There's people that share in my Facebook group, and I just always know when I see a page before I even look and see who posted it. I know exactly who colored it, just because of certain specific things that just really stand out to me. But it's starting to come together and kind of look very textured, and this technique doesn't take really that long at all. Of course, if I was doing the whole table, then it's going to take longer, but I actually spent a lot less time doing the cabinets than I would normally spend when I do something where I'm doing a lot of, you know, burnishing and pulling the colors together and all of that. And because the line art in this book is so light, I'm actually kind of going over it like this to where it's kind of hiding those lines, which is really, really cool because once the whole page is colored, you're not going to be able to see any of the line work. And I love, love, love books like this. I really, really do, where I could just cover up the line work and or the line art and everything just kind of comes together. And it's just all of the colors that you used to create whatever it is you created with your color combinations, and they all just kind of really stand out on the page. So now I'm going to come back with my eggplant, and I'm just going to come in here where I want some highlights, and this is what really makes it stand out, and just adding the highlighted areas all in here, just kind of sporadically. And that's mainly what you're doing with all of these colors, is you're just kind of placing them sporadically. And if you want to leave a little bit of the white of the paper, like I did in some of these areas, you can do that as well. Whenever you're trying to create texture, you always want it to be different in every different area of whatever the object is that you're coloring. And I'm just coming back here and I'm adding a little bit more of my rosy beige. And with this color, I do again have a little bit more of a dull lead on my pencil because I want to be able to lay a wider area of color when I'm laying this down on the page. And I'm kind of mixing this up a little bit with my eggplant. I love how these two colors look together, and I love this color combination that I created for this wood. Now I'm going to come back and add a little bit more, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going over, see how it just really made it stand out right there? This is just making it look much more texturized. And I'm kind of mixing it in with the areas where I've got a lot of that dark umber. And you could see how it's really just making it stand out. And when you're doing this, don't go in and cover up too much of that eggplant because you want all of the colors here with this combination to really stand out and show. And this is one time when you don't want your colors to be burnished out. I'm hoping I wasn't covering any of this with my hand. It's so difficult when you're coloring to try to keep your hand out of the way. Maybe I should turn my book a little bit this way, and so my hand will be over here, but I'm just going to continue adding some of this color just because I want it to really, really stand out. But see, we're almost done already. It's really, really an easy technique. This color goes really, really well with the dark umber, and I'm probably just going to come back in one more time with my dark umber and kind of darken it up. Now under here, this would be like the underside of the table. So I want to make sure that it's darker under there, since this would actually be laying behind. So I've got my dark umber here, and I'm just kind of adding a little bit more. of this. Now this color, you need to be really careful with this color because this color is very deeply pigmented. But this is the color that's giving us all that really cool looking texture. And I'm using a little bit harder pressure. As you can see, my hands have now moved to or down closer to the lead of the pencil, and I'm holding it a little bit more upright. So by doing that, it's actually putting more pigment down onto the paper. And you can see how dark this color is. But I want to make sure I've got this lined really good. And right here where I want to create a little bit of a separation in the leg of the table, I'm going to use a little bit of harder pressure there. I think it looks really good. Let me add a little bit more of my highlight color. And you can see I'm just kind of coming back and forth with all of the colors that created this. And when I started laying down some of my lighter colors, but I didn't lay down my highlight color yet. I started with my lighter shades, but not the highlight color. And up here I'm just kind of laying a little bit of this eggplant just to kind of pull some of those colors together. So I'm not laying a whole lot of color all down in just one specific space. And then I'm going to come back here with my sienna brown, and I want to just kind of go over and combine this in these areas where I've got the eggplant. I love the redness, you know, or the shade of red that this kind of adds to it. It gives it kind of that, like, I don't know, cherry wood look mixed with the much darker wood. And I just think it looks so cool. But I don't want to burnish it in too much. I think I'm going to, well, let me add a little bit here, a little bit of my highlight color in some of these areas where it was more white. And I think this is just going to kind of bring it all through. But that is how you create texture on a piece of furniture. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish the table or color most of the table, and I'm going to speed it up to music so that you guys can kind of see exactly what I'm doing and watch the table just kind of come to life before your eyes. I hope you all enjoyed watching the textured wood table come to life. I enjoyed doing this tutorial for you, and I can't wait to see the rest of the page all just come together. I've got lots of ideas for this page, and if you would like to see me continue coloring this page and record it so that I could share it with all of you, please let me know. I have an idea for her dress that is very, very different, and I'm wanting to bring you guys another tutorial for that. I'm not going to mention what it is yet, but I just ordered some stuff from Amazon, and I am excited to kind of try that out and bring you guys a very interesting tutorial. So if you all enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And make sure you're subscribed to my channel and have your bell notifications turned on. I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye-bye.